My name is Benson the Biking Viking, and I am just starting my cycle trip from Alaska to Argentina. It's going to be 18,000 miles of fun. Hope you're ready to join me.
Let's kick it. Ice, baby. Ice, baby.
Boom! Welcome to episode 6. We made it across the border. We are back in the US. We are in Port Angeles. I am about to start the 101 highway, and this episode will be the race to San Fran. I have 2 weeks to cover 1,700 kilometers in order to get to San Francisco, get on a flight, and get to Dallas to see Ella. So I am racing. We need to book it. We have got some heavy fog on the go. So I've got water droplets forming on my arm, and my glasses are fogging up every 2 minutes because of the fog in the air. It's getting real wet. Today was really weird. For the final 75 kilometers, there was just no campsites anywhere. And as we started getting closer to town, it started just looking dodgier and dodgier. And so all the way into town, I was kind of looking for somewhere I could just pull off and kip up for the night. Couldn't find anywhere. Cycled 20 kilometers through them, and it started to get dark. So in the end, I just had to make the decision to pull off the road. So we're on hopefully a disused Forest Service road. The first night in a while where I've been like, am I safe? Hopefully see you in the morning. Good morning. So I have just woken up to the fog again. So I went to bed and it was completely clear. Wasn't predicted any rain at all. But the air is so moist that it's done this all night. I'm sure you can hear it. The fog hits the trees, condenses on the trees, and then it's raining on my tent. So you can see the line in the sand where if I'd have set my tent up on this side, the fog wouldn't have hit the trees, condensed and fallen down. Dry, soaking wet tent. Beautiful. We move. Behind me is what I've been looking forward to. So this is the Astoria Bridge, main attraction for the day. So it's 4 miles long, the longest truss bridge in the US, and that will be me done in Washington. I'll be on to Oregon. Good morning. So we finished crossing the Astoria Bridge yesterday, finally got into Oregon, carried on riding all the way to a place called Cannon Beach, where everybody has been telling me it's an amazing place and it's awesome. And I was really worried because as we started coming into town, we started climbing into town, it started to get real misty again, just like this. And I was like, if it's going to be this misty, I'm not going to be able to see anything, it's not going to be that great. But as we dropped then down into Cannon Beach, the mist cleared and the views were just amazing. The plan was to take a few pictures and then keep on cycling. I saw the rock features in the ocean. I was like, I don't want to go just yet. We asked around town to see if there's anywhere that would take tents. One place wanted to charge me $60, which I politely said no to. I was then told that that's the only place in town that allows tents. So we've come to the back of town. Don't tell anybody. It is nice and early, it's 7:30. I'm going to cycle down, get a takeaway coffee, and then dry this tent. So it is absolutely sopping wet. We are ready to set off for the day. I was hoping to stay at Cannon Beach and check out the amazing views, but I asked the lady in the shop, she says the fog doesn't normally burn off until midday. I can't hang around and wait for that. I need to keep cycling. Completely forgot to turn the camera yesterday. I crashed my drone properly for the first time. Was driving along beautiful coastal road, thought it'd be good to put it up there. So I had it behind me, following me. Heard a truck coming behind, so I was like, right, I'll just get it out of the way. The screen was just blank. So you can do like find my drone. So I loaded up where it was. I walked back to the section, and then in the top left of like the phone screen, you can see the last video of what happened before it crashed. So I had to use that to see which tree it had crashed into and go and find it. It was about 2 meters away from water's edge, so I was really lucky that it didn't go in and break. Chucked her back up in the sky and she's flying perfectly. Need to be a bit more careful with her. It's definitely a little bit frustrating after looking forward to the Oregon coast for so long that the the fog is still here and it's like 11 AM. So I'm cycling along all these beautiful roads, knowing that the beach just over there somewhere, can't see a thing. So the sun came out to play for a bit. We rounded a corner and the fog came back in. Just when you think it's gonna be clear for a day, keeps going Pirates of the Caribbean on me. I feel like the zombies are gonna come out. Zombies? Pirate zombies. Look at that. I decided to go the Oregon bike coast route rather than staying on a road which is shorter. The sun was out. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna trust that the fog will have cleared and I'll go down and see some beautiful coast. This is what we get. I can hear the sea, can't see it. Come out to the coast, let's get together, we'll have some laughs. Cue the Pirates of the Caribbean music. Film your ass. So that was Alex. So we met on the ferry over from Victoria to Port Angeles, that's the one. Swapped numbers. He had two friends.
Did the same ride from, it was supposed to be from the east coast of Canada to the west coast, then down to Argentina, but the Canada bit didn't happen because they were wimps.
And they just went
got a train across to Vancouver and then rode from there down south.
We started talking when he saw my bike, and then we met up at Beverley State Park, and it's still misty. I thought I would film everything I eat today. It has been awesome cruising along these roads. The fog's cleared, the mood is up, the roads are just hugging cliff edges, and some like climbing, and then the views now are just absolutely awesome. We're coming up to Dune City now as well, which is apparently sand dunes all the way up to the highway, so looking forward to that. We might be getting a bit better at this wild camping stuff. After a bit of hunting, found this place. I think the sunrise is going to be amazing tomorrow morning. Absolutely knackered. I just don't think I'm sleeping well. Tonight is get tent set up, cook food, stretch, bed. Yeah, it's just, falling asleep now. All right, peace. I'm furious. We're about 9 kilometers away from a church which I'm going to be staying at for the night, and I've got another puncture, and there's only one thing that is puncturing me at the moment. Staples. This is my 4th one in 7 days, and it's only Staples. I can roll over glass, I can roll over anything. Staples just it's doing my head in. Right, I'm going to fix this. You can watch me. Swat. Gonna pump this bad boy up and then cycle in and finish the day and rest. So we are in the Trees of Mystery. For anyone that's seen Community, I can't help but say the Trees of Mystery. It's just a bunch of redwoods. I did not know the canopy walk. I included wobbling bridges with canvas ropes on the side. I don't like that. And I didn't know I don't like that until I was up here. Just to give you an idea of how quickly these things grow. These ones here were cleared in the 50s. The area was wooded. So a lot of this was cut down and was flat, and they're already almost as big as some of the ones that have been here for a couple thousand years, which is crazy to say. So the fog makes a return. in California. I think this is the worst I've seen it so far. We're descending down the climb out of Crescent City down to the redwoods, and it is insane. Can't see anything. I've had to stop because it's so cold. The fog is crazy today. We've been going through redwoods for the past few days, so we're heading back down to the coast after this climb into San Francisco, so I think we're under 200 miles now. Story time. I met a British guy called Will yesterday. We were cycling on the Avenue of Giants, set up camp, we cook dinner, we have a chat, and then we say, yeah, we're going to bed now. As I get into my tent, I get in, I turn my light off so that the flies don't come inside of me. Get inside and I feel kind of something on my face. Go to brush a piece of hair off my face, I feel something fall on the floor. Put the light back on and it's a huge spider. It's probably the most guttural scream. Will comes running over thinking like someone stabbed me, like it was a big scream. He runs over and I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry, dude. It's just a spider. So I lift up my clothes, throw the spider outside, zip back up again, and I'm like, I'm not going outside again this evening. Will lets his heart rate die down, then goes back over to his tent, and as he gets in his, he finds 3 of the things inside his tent. We both lay down and then just sat there again. I can hear them like climbing on the tent. It was, yeah, they were horrible. So that was last night. The last day of the race. We're in a place called Bodega Bay. We're just getting coffee. Got coffee. We've learnt some lessons on this one. The body is absolutely knackered. I looked at the distance and the elevation. It's quite similar to Land's End to John O'Groats. As long as I get to San Fran today, I've accidentally done this trip in 11 and a half days, which wasn't expected, but we've learnt some lessons. Racing, how do I want to say this? With winter approaching, the riding hours each day have shrunk. So waking up before 7 is getting harder because it's colder. Essentially means the riding hours each day are shrinking, which means that riding longer days is less and less fun because you can't see and do as much. I'm constantly pushing myself. This last 10, 12 days have been fun still, but it's been a challenge. And racing and doing big days, I don't want to keep doing it. So I need to make a pact with myself not to, because it's very, very hard for me not to set a goal and then go out and do it, which I actually had this big light bulb moment that the trip is a metaphor for life. When I set a goal, I have to go out and achieve it, and by focusing 100% on that goal, I'm not enjoying the stuff that's happening around me, which can definitely be extrapolated as a metaphor for my life back home and things like that. So it's been difficult. I've been extremely tired because I'm not sleeping too well. My legs are just gone. So this section, I know I can do it. I don't need to prove it again, and I'm not going to race again. I'm not going to do it like this. I'm not going to push myself and do 100 milers unless I need to. Good coffee. But the fun stuff. So I will arrive into San Francisco today. I'm gonna ride on the Golden Gate Bridge today. That's crazy. The weather is a lot better. The California coast, the colors are amazing. Because the weather isn't as foggy, you can see more. So I think the Oregon coast might have been better just a touch, but you couldn't see the bugger half the time. So I'm excited to get to San Francisco. A lot of the directions were taking me from where I started this morning back inland to a place called Petaluma and then down into San Fran. And I wondered why they weren't sending me just along Highway 1 along the coastline. I was wondering whether it was cars or elevation. It's elevation, so there's climbs. But this here is the San Andreas fault line. So it splits. So that side of the continent is the Pacific plate, and this side is the North American plate. The last big San Francisco earthquake, this side moved 20 feet that way. There was a load of bridges yesterday where you could see the foundations were 20 feet different, and they had to rebuild them. It's crazy. So we have been spat out of the coastal highway 101, a quiet road with climbs on. You can hear the traffic behind me, into a main suburb of San Francisco. I've got water on one side, I got a highway on the other, and I've just seen a sign that says Golden Gate Bridge. I didn't think I'd be this excited about it, but I'm really excited. My mum has said I need to explain that I keep on saying we in the videos. Who knows who I'm talking about, but I think it's me and Emmy Lou. And I was going to say now we're excited to cross. We're on a cycle path, so away from all this heavy traffic, thank God. Just enjoying the cruise in now, we're almost there. Race is almost over. Good morning. So we cycled over the Golden Gate Bridge yesterday. Absolutely awesome. Came into San Francisco. The scenery was amazing. Being back in the middle of a city of that size was crazy. I completely randomly bumped into a cyclist I met for the first time on the Dalton Road straight after I got off the Golden Gate Bridge, and I recognised his bike setup. So he came with me. We went to a friend's house, dropped off the bike. Emmy Lou's all locked up in San Fran, and then we cycled to a hostel, booked in, and then had a beer last night. I'm now in the airport on a spinny chair, and I'm about to board a flight to Dallas. So that brings us to the end of episode 6. The race to San Fran is complete. Now on to Dallas.